got a chance to see Bad Boys Ride or Die with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. Let's talk about it right now. All right, welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you for spending time with me. I am your host, Frank Zank. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a working line producer and other things. Just a general filmmaker, because my last one, I actually worked as a second AD on a Crispin Glover film. I was gone for a month. I have been back now for a week, so I'm trying to catch up on all my comics and movies and everything like that. I know The Watcher came out today as well. I'll probably get a chance to see that in a few days. But I did get a chance to check out Bad Boys. We're going to talk about that. Before we do, make sure you give me a thumbs up, give me a like, give me a subscribe, ring that bell ding ding. And remember, too, that we just launched 2 weeks ago Myth Lords, the card game about a classic monster. So you have to play as the classic monsters. The description below has the link in it to Backer Kit. We are fully funded, so definitely go and check that out and jump into that now because it's definite that you're going to get the game. So, and there's free stuff that we're going to be unlocking. We just unlocked the 5th player. All right, so let's jump into the review of Bad Boys. And, you know, anybody who's been watching my channel knows that I constantly get into trouble at the theater, even though security knows me, because of people on their cell phones. However, this time, I went in there and there were 0 people in the theater. 0. When I walked in and sat down, I was audience number 1 of 1. Nobody ever showed up. It was just me. So I literally had the entire theater to myself. So I couldn't fight with myself. So I had a very good experience. I would have liked to have seen it with some other people and got to, you know, experience the laughter of not just myself. But that brings me to the point that I'm trying to make here, was I was really wondering if Will Smith, his nefarious slap on the Oscars, if that was going to affect people's, you know, desire to see any film that he's in. And this is the first time I was at a theater with 0 people in it. The first time. For any kind of a new release, anyway. And yeah, there was just nobody there. So I'm worried about the fact that this might tank because of the whole Will Smith situation. So tell me what you guys think in the comments. Do you think that's going to affect anything, or was this just a fluke in my theater in Atlanta? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. The numbers will tell us by Monday. So this was directed by Adil Arbi and Bilal Fallah. They directed the last film, which I thought was pretty good. And the writers are Chris Bremer and Will Bale and George Gallo. So there's 3 guys here. And when I saw the trailers, I didn't see the whole group, like their backup group, you know, with Rita and Kelly and I want to say Bjorn because it's the guy from Vikings. Dorn. I was close. I said Bjorn. I said his name is Dorn. So he's played by Alexander Ludwig and of course Vanessa Hudgens. And I don't really know Rita. I don't really know what she's from, but and then it was good to see Ian Guffold, who played Mr. Fantastic in the Fantastic Four films back in the day, and then he had his his movie, his TV show. I mean, about him being immortal. But I haven't seen him since, and I was wondering what happened to him. He also played in the Jerry. That's probably how he got the role. He played in the Jerry Bruckheimer film King Arthur, right? Didn't he play King Arthur? He didn't play King Arthur. He played Lancelot, I believe. But he played in that whole thing with Keira Knightley and everything like that. So that's what happened. He probably, Bruckheimer said, why don't you just come back and I'll give you a role. and that's probably what happened. Good for him. And Bruckheimer is apparently an amazing guy. I have not met him. He's been like an idol of mine for many, many years. I still have never met the guy. And he still has his partner's name on the production company, and his partner like committed suicide like a dozen years ago. So pretty amazing that he would do that. Don Simpson was his name, so it's like Don Simpson slash. He even puts Don Simpson's name first slash Barry Jerry Bruckheimer Productions, even though the guy's dead. That's pretty wild, man. I don't know if he's taking care of the guy's family or whatever, but more power to him. That's you got to give the commendations for that. So let's jump into the plot of the film. So Eric Dane here also plays the main villain, and I'm not giving anything away because he literally does his evil stuff like in the first scene. So it's not like you're wondering if he's good or bad. And it's always great to see Vanessa Hudgens. I know she's tiny, but I think she could be an action hero on a gun level. She could, probably not on the fighting level, but I do like that. I do like her with a gun in her hand, and she's got to be the same height as Scarlett Johansson. So if Scarlett Johansson can pull it, Vanessa Hudgens can pull it. But anyway, it was good to see that team back. The only person missing it was the guy from who played Reggie in Riverdale. He didn't return, but everybody else returned. So and I was so excited to see that because I really think that whole team adds an element to Bad Boys. And I really hope that they keep going. If does well, which I hope it does, so we can get another one. I hope Will Smith didn't ruin it. That's all I can say. Tiffany Haddish came in for one scene. She's literally in one scene. Even though she has a main credit, she only has one scene. And if you saw the last movie, then you know the whole thing about Armando is, and you have to know this going in. That Armando is Mike Lowry, which is Will Smith's, his son. That whole thing and then the son was the one that killed the captain. So Joe Palatino does return, and it's the same thing as in the trailer. He returns purely as a video, and he is being framed, even though he's post-mortem. Because of all the shenanigans going on, and it's the guys that are trying to absolve him of this crime, or at least the memory, his whole reputation, and his family, because his daughter is a U.S. Marshal, and we get into that as well because the daughter does hold a grudge against Mike because his son killed, even though he had nothing to do with it, his son killed her dad. And so there is that going on as well. DJ Khaled shows up for a split second. But the chemistry of all the characters is there from the last film. And that is what makes me go back to watch these films over and over and over again. Is that chemistry, no matter what they're doing. The chemistry is there, and it makes the thing fun, and it makes me laugh, even though I'm like, oh my God, I just laughed at that. It's not even a conscious laugh. And so I thought, if you like the last movie, you're going to like this movie. Is this movie as good as the last one? No, it's not. It's a little bit more contrived, I think. So the plot is not nearly as good. I don't think that some of the action is as good as in the last movie. They try to do different things. There's an alligator in this one, as an example. They're on the run in this one, so they get out of the city. But we do get some cool stuff on like the helicopter and things to that effect. And the son takes on a larger role here, which I like his whole arc. We get some stuff with their medical, because now that they're getting older, meaning Will Smith, I'm just going to give it out. He ends up having panic attacks because he gets married in the beginning of the film to Melanie Laird, who she was in an episode of Game of Thrones. She's in Power, and she was in one of my favorite shows, a sci-fi show, of course, called Dark Matter. So she was in a few episodes of that at playing Nyx. So I like her as an actress, and she gets to play a little bit of a role here, not very big. So because of that, now Mike has something to lose. So he no longer is the carefree guy, because Martin Lawrence's character, Marcus, always was the one with the family. And so now that Mike has the family, he's not used to it, so now he starts to get panic attacks. And then Martin Lawrence's character, Marcus, has his own medical issues that has a whole different arc, with this. So, and if you saw the trailer, you could see that he was, trying to keep him off sugar and things to that effect, and that kind of turns into a little bit of thing here. And then we also see his son-in-law, who's the Marine. We get to see him do some action as well. And that was a really good scene, and you'll know what I'm talking about once you actually see the film. So a lot of these characters, these side characters, get their moments, which I really like. And then, of course, the two main characters are constantly bantering, etc., which it doesn't always work. Like, some of the dialogue is just like, all right, let's move on. But just to see them, doing their thing, doing their bit, and interacting with one another, no matter what they say, it's going to be entertaining. And that's how I feel about this film, is it's pure entertainment. So you're not going to think about it too hard. It's not going to stay with you. It will pull on the heartstrings a little bit. The ending is what it is. It's kind of predictable. And but I'll go back every single time to see these guys together. So I just hope that Will Smith didn't mess it up. And there's like a behind the scenes footage that came out with this rig. I have to look at this rig. I mean, I don't do a lot of action stuff because I don't have that kind of budget normally, because I do low budget stuff. Personally, if I work on other people's stuff, then it's other people's stuff. But the rig was attached to Will Smith, and he personally was spinning the camera back and forth between this first-person shooter thing to seeing the gun to seeing going back to his face, and he basically was the DP or the cameraman. So that's I thought that was pretty cool. I've never seen that rig before. That just allows you to spin it back and forth. It was pretty wild. The whole end scene, the whole end battle scene is very, very well choreographed and is way high energy. It's extremely high energy. So, yeah, I really enjoyed the film. I will give it an 8 out of 10. I will be watching it again. I think the last one was at least an 8.5 compared to this. I don't think it was a 9. It still had its little issues. But it was this one was not as good, but watchable and rewatchable. I think that's all I can say there. But definitely recommend you go out and check it out. Please support it so that we can get another one. All right, well, that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Remember to give me a like and a subscribe. Remember to ding that bell. Ding, ding. It helps me grow the channel out. And, it's free, so what's stopping you? Plus, as I mentioned, 2 weeks ago, we did launch our card game for Myth Lords. It's Classic Monsters. You can check out the back there. You could play as Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman, Creature from the Deep, etc., and we just unlocked a 5th character as well. And then you're recruiting characters. It's not very hard to learn. It's a deck builder, so you're buying cards inside the game with currency from the cards themselves. So you'll have like the Mummy in there, and Mr. Hyde, and the Bride of Frankenstein, and a whole bunch of vampires, and etc. So it's lots of fun, and it's the artwork is incredible by Mark Spears. He does a lot of comic book cover art. And we also have this Wizard of Oz expansion pack where you can also play as the Wicked Witch or Dorothy, and then there's other characters in there like the Tin Man and the Cowardly Lion, Scarecrow, and the other Glinda and the other witches as well. So it's and Toto. You got Toto in here too. All right, so definitely check out the link below. My little playthrough a couple of days ago went really well. I thought we had half a dozen people in there, so watching me play that. So it was pretty cool. All right, well, again, thank you guys so much for spending time with me. Check out some other videos, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. Go see Bad Boys. All right, talk to you later. Bye-bye.